It's about telling the story, not about showing off a technique ever for him. So, and the essence of all of his camera positions or the style of the film or how much cutting there is really always seems to just be there to advance the story. There's a sequence where the king and his ambassador, they're peeking through a keyhole into the next room where they see this naked girl in the bathtub, and she turns out to be an advertising specialist, right? But even when they're looking through the keyhole, she looks directly at them as though she's already on TV, you know? And we don't know anything about her yet, but yeah, this eye contact is very Chaplin-esque, you know, very astute and stylistically brilliant. It made me laugh out loud.
Chaplin wrapped his film in 10 weeks, a record in his production of feature films. He edited the film in Paris. His one-time associates at United Artists, already reticent upon reading the script, arrived. Shocked by the negative vision of America, they refused to distribute it. A King in New York would only be released in the United States 15 years later, shortened by 10 minutes. Chaplin personally conducted the recording of his music.
Certainly Chaplin's films are musical in rhythm, and he is, in a sense, a dancer as well, so he understands the rhythm even of a human body moving through a room. But what's really, really impressive to me is the simple fact that he created the music himself, you know? He is truly, maybe the first truly independent master of cinema, because he has control over everything in his films.
The premiere was held in London on September 12, 1957. Reacting to the lukewarm reception of audiences in the press, he said, "My picture isn't political. The film is a satire. This is my most rebellious film. I refuse to be part of this dying civilization they talk about."
This film is political. There's no way you can say it's not. And in a very beautiful way, because it is very funny and it is a very interesting story, from many aspects, a very human story. But he fills it with politics.
The committee cites this witness for contempt of Congress.
That's very unsportsmanlike on your part.
I almost want to jump up and cheer when he sprays the House on Un-American Activities with a big fire hose. I mean, so he even is, in a way, a warrior, a comedic warrior and provocateur with this film. And this young boy, played by Michael Chaplin in the film, he's talking about the monopoly of power as the menace of freedom, and you know, he also predicts all this monopolization and corporatization. The kid even mentions chain stores and the automobile industry, and you know, he's very, very, this is really beautiful, the things he says. Of course, Chaplin's also making fun of him by his way of saying it, but really the heart of the film is in, you know, for me, politically, is in this character.
Ah, very interesting.
This, Your Majesty, is Rupert, our young editor.
How do you do, Rupert?
How do you do?
Sit down. And what's that you're reading?
Karl Marx.
Surely you're not a communist.
Do I have to be a communist to read Karl Marx?
Rupert.
That's a valid answer. Well, if you're not a communist, what are you?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I dislike all forms of government.
But somebody must rule.
And I don't like the word rule.
Well, if we don't like the word rule, let's call it leadership.
Leadership in government is political power, and political power is an official form of antagonizing the people.